Most of us with kids say, you actually were quite relieved when your children get chickenpox. You think, oh, good, that's that one done, sorted and out of the way.
That's how we felt as a family.
So when you first saw the spots and thought, oh, that's chickenpox, did you have any concerns at that point?
No, not really, because my daughter had it, and I've been a nursery nurse for 20 years, so I know that it's just a childhood illness. So we thought he would just get a few spots, be a bit grouchy for a couple of days.
Yeah, like the normal they normally do.
And
but then it started getting a bit worse, the temperature was going up, and you did speak to your GP's
I phoned
surgery.
the GP up just to say he's got quite bad chickenpox, I think it's quite bad, and they said that they wouldn't see him because it's obviously contagious, so I understood that, but it's just chickenpox, and every mum thinks their child has it severely.
So at what point did you think, no, this has gone beyond now?
Just when every single day he woke up and he had more and more and more arriving, like on his face, he would just have like them on top of each other. So I obviously then thought that night, this is not, his temperature was up to 41 degrees.
Look at him, he's dropped his teddy. Can someone pick his...
Sorry.
For us? No, it's all right.
And, well, look, the really worrying thing here is that you tried to see your GP and that proved difficult.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dickie. Thanks, Dickie.
Yeah, they were just saying it's just chickenpox, you know, lots of rest, paracetamol, that, you know, and he'll recover in a few days.
You can let him wander if he's
okay?
He'll be safe. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him, don't we? He just wants to have a little look round.
Yeah, so it wasn't until I thought the next day, this is not just normal. His temperature was still hitting 40.
Wow.
And nothing was bringing it down, and he was just really, he wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, he wasn't keeping any fluids down. So I managed to get an actual doctor's appointment. I said, I am bringing him in. You can't turn me away now. And they put me in an isolation room. And all their reactions when I walked through the doors was just like...
Yes, but before that, why was there a delay? There seems to be a feeling, Chris, that every parent thinks that their child's chickenpox is worse than anybody else's. So it's almost as if, you know, doctors have seen it all.
Well, OK, they have seen it all, but also Sarah's seen it all as well, being a nursery nurse, etc. And, I mean, basically, you know, we view chickenpox as very common, very contagious, and usually sort of a mild disease that children get and get away from. But, you know, obviously, you know, seeing his pictures there, Jasper's pictures, and his temperature getting so high and then getting worse by the day. I mean, they're alarm bells, and Jasper...
I'm sure you fear it's something worse than chickenpox then at some stage.
No, I didn't.
No?
I just thought he had just a really bad case of chickenpox.
What about when you got to the hospital? What did they say?
I took him into A&E, because that's the first port of call, and luckily an amazing nurse was walking out, and he was just like, oh my goodness, he needs to be admitted, and he needs to be admitted now. And we got up to the children's ward, and obviously the doctors were coming in, and then they started mentioning other possible things it could be on top of the chickenpox. So,
like what?
Kawasaki's disease. Yeah.
Never heard of that. What's that?
But no, the interesting thing about Jasper, maybe why it was so bad was that his sister had had chickenpox a week or two beforehand. So when a second child gets chickenpox in the same family, it often is worse. Rather than children just picking up at school, they just see their friends and they're not in very close contact for many, many hours. So very often the second child is. But also, he had scarlet fever developing
the week
before.
Oh.
So he had scarlet fever, which is a bacterial infection. His immune system was trying to fight that. Then chickenpox came along on top of that, and it's not surprising that he got a severe reaction.
Rare. It is rare. But let's talk about vaccination, because I didn't know there was a vaccination against chickenpox.
Yeah, no.
So why do we not all have it, if there is one, it seems?
Yeah, whenever you get into these vaccination arguments, it can be very, very difficult. I mean, basically, when you look at the Department of Health assessing the situation, is it down to the bottom line? The cost of vaccinating every child in the country against chickenpox, which is generally a mild disease and not as dangerous as measles and mumps and whooping cough, which can be very serious indeed, and they're vaccinated against. So the cost of vaccinating...
hello, you're back. Hello.
Hello.
The cost of vaccinating against the small percentage that can get complications, that's what the vaccination committee will be looking at and making the decision next year, they say.
Next year. Now, Sarah, you're not too happy about that. You would like to see this as standard.
I would like to see. I mean, it is very rare that children do get severely affected by it, but I do think also that children have the choice and parents have the choice. And all vaccinations are not compulsory, so you can choose to have them out. You can opt out of having them, and that's what I think chickenpox should be, rather than having to pay out for it, because some families can't afford it. It's a lot of money.
But if it's not a fatal condition, why? Why? But I'd worry more about the scarlet fever
I
or
just think that
meningitis.
you're miserable with it. Children aren't. It's not. They don't just breeze through it. Even a very mild case, which I've seen, children do feel.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's very funny. He's obviously feeling back to his normal self.
He certainly is.
It's a good slidey floor, that, isn't
Come on
it?
then. Yeah, they can feel miserable
fine,
with it.
don't worry about it.
Even if it's a mild case of it, they can feel pretty grotty for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So
But there's a demonstration. Look how well he is
Yeah.
now, and he's
Yeah.
been very
they do
ill.
bounce back very quickly.
And that's what chickenpox does. You know, even severe cases, you know, the children do recover, and he's not had the complications. Thank goodness.
Can I just say, Chris, if anyone is watching and their child has got chickenpox, we said most kids sail through it, a few spots, and they're fine, a bit grouchy. But if their temperature soars like that, then you should go and
Yeah, if the
get them
temperatures,
seen.
if they're obviously more ill, if they're not eating, if they're breathing rapidly, they might have, you know, lung complications. Look, basically, if you're concerned, ring your GP and take
And
it
go
from
from there. OK. Thank you very much. Well, we're glad to see he's
Thank
he's
you.
happy and, again, behaving like a normal
Sarah would
two-year-old.
be horrified if we were telling her about chickenpox parties when the likes of us were young, when people were brought deliberately to get it and get it out of the way.
Yes.
And the thing is, don't do that, because
No.
although maybe 1 in 10,000 children get a serious complication, if your child is the 1 in 10,000 who got it by going to a chickenpox party,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah, so not a good idea. For more of the same, just click here, and don't forget you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel. But when it comes to medicine for your children, vaccinations,
Yes.
you're totally against this.
Yeah, I actually believe childhood disease is quite important to experience to build the child's immunity. And Ulysses has experienced scarlet fever and chickenpox, and we treated that naturally.